Hello, my name is Lisa Xie. This is my presentation on my study abroad trip to China. During the trip, we went to Shanghai, Beijing, Shenyang, and Dandong. Over there, we visited a couple universities. In Shanghai, we visited the Fudan University. We also visited a couple hospitals in Shanghai and Beijing, and we also did some tourist attractions. We also visited Shenyang Pharmaceutical University and their traditional Chinese hospital. And in Dandong, we visited a few manufacturing facilities as well as some attractions. So this picture shows the most popular food in Shanghai. Shanghai is known for their soupy buns. The left one is a pan-fried soupy bun, and then on the right is a steamed soupy bun. Once you bite into it, they have a lot of flavors and juice. So that's one thing you must try when you go to Shanghai. So we visited the Fudan University. It is located in Shanghai. We visited the campus. They have 4 different campuses. Right now we are at the one in Handan, and this is where we took the photo of the school logo. Down here is a school library. So during our trip, we were able to visit all 4 campuses in Fudan University. This is one of their oldest buildings. It is their very first establishment for the university. We were on campus and we were able to meet up with the students and interact with them. And in the background here, you can see that those were their recreation areas. And then in the lower right-hand corner is a student cafeteria. And on the 3rd floor are especially made for teachers and faculty and staff members to have their lunch. And we were able to sit down and interact with the students, learn about their education, learn about their student life. And it was really great to sit down and talk to them. So this is another campus. This is in their Zhongzheng campus, where the School of Pharmacy is located. In this area, they do. There's a chemistry building, their experimental lab building, and they also have a research building. So right now we're at the research building. And they were nice enough to welcome us on their big screen. And here are their founders of the schools. And then bottom here is a group photo with the dean of the School of Pharmacy and her students, along with our students. And this is a little gift from Fudan University. It is a jump drive with the school logo and a name. We were able to learn from what their curriculum is like, and in China, their School of Pharmacy is more focused on research. Most of their students after their undergraduate education, they pursue for higher education in master's and PhD programs. We visited the Zhongshan Hospital. It is at another campus where the Fudan Medical School is at. This is the entrance to the hospital. Patients in the 1st floor, they register for their clinic. And on the board left-hand side is a list of all the physicians in the hospital. they get to pick and choose what physician they want to see. And that's something very different in the United States. In the left corner here is a pharmacy. The patients drop off their prescriptions, and once their prescription is ready, their name will be posted on the screen, and then you can go up to the counter to pick up your medication. That is also different from the United States, where patients' name is considered protected health information. But in China, they display their name on top of these boards. And then also in Shanghai, we did a couple attractions. This is the Oriental Pearl Tower. And this is the view from the top of the tower. You can see there are a lot of tall buildings in Shanghai. And this is the night view. We were at the Bund, which is a river, and they have a very pretty, beautiful nightlife. So we head to Beijing. And at Beijing, we also did a couple attraction visits. This is at the Tiananmen Square, and then behind it is the entrance to the Forbidden City. We did a lot of posing with our gator signs everywhere we went, and we have brought our flag with us, so we're representing gators everywhere we go. This is the Imperial Palace where the emperor had lived, and they keep it very pretty and up to date. This is at the Temple of Heaven. And now we are at the Peking University. During our time there, the host gave us a few presentations about their pharmacy and regulations in China. They talked about the CFDA, which is the Chinese FDA, and most of the medications are registered in China, and they do have their own variation of the NDC number that is very similar to the United States. We visited a small satellite pharmacy. It's specially for the eyes, ear, nose, and throat. It's a small pharmacy, and they provided some prescription medications. And on the left top corner is an automatic drug dispensing machine. And that, when the drug is selected from their computer, it will automatically pop out and then drop down to the lower bottom shelf of the machine, and then it gets transported to the front of the pharmacy where the pharmacy worker will pick it up. And in this facility, there were no pharmacists. It was a pharmacy worker, a person with a bachelor degree in pharmacy, and they're trying to get their work experience in order to become a pharmacist in the future. There is no special examination or licensing for pharmacists in China. It's mostly by your education and your work experience. If you have a bachelor's degree, you most likely have to work for 5 years. Or if you have a master's, you could just work for 3 years, whereas if you have a PhD in pharmacy, you just need 1 additional year of work experience to become a pharmacist. This is a traditional Chinese pharmacy inside the same hospital where we were before in Beijing. They have 2 sections. One is for Western medicine and the other for Chinese traditional medicine. And here you have workers dividing the medications roughly through practice without using any weights, because they've been doing it for so long, so they can divide it fairly evenly. And the medications are packaged per day, so we visited their museum, and They have a whole collection of herbal medications, and they even have some original manuscripts, original documentations from the very few, the early centuries. And while we were there, we were also able to visit their their Center for Drug Discovery and Development. And China is very big on research, so most of their students are part of a research project. And on the left-hand side was was posted on the display board of our itinerary for that day and the presentations, and our names are on here. And they were very generous, and they hosted us for dinner. The students were very fun to converse with. We also sat down, had dinner together, and interacted with each other. It was a good learning experience to see their culture. Chinese people are very big on large family dinners, so you can see our food are in the middle, and then there's a rotating plate where it's rotated to share the food for everyone. And then we also taught them how to do the gator chomp. As you can see here, everybody learned the gator chomp. And then we also taught them how to T-bow. So a very big thanks to Peking University for hosting us. We had a great time, and we learned a lot from their students as well. And then while in Beijing, we also went to the Great Wall. I didn't really get the ski lift up. It was very convenient. The Great Wall was beautiful. We went on a very good day. You can see the blue sky. Usually in Beijing during May is very dusty with a lot of sand from the winds, but when we went it was pretty okay. And we brought our flag. And here is this is how we all got down from the Great Wall. Instead of retracing our steps and going down every single step, we took this mini ride where we can control the speed ourselves with a little handle, and we can just slide down. It was actually the most interesting slide. Didn't know that they had it, but it was really, really fun. And you can see we can all slide down one by one together, or separate. And now we're at the Summer Palace. The Summer Palace is known for vacationing for the Empress. It's called the Summer Palace because it is slightly warmer than Beijing during the winter time. So during the winter time, that's where they'll go. And it's a pretty nice view. It has a river, and this large river is actually man-made. And there's a long corridor, and each one of these beans are hand painted with a different picture on there. And this is some Beijing transportation. This is their subway system. It's very convenient and very easy to use. We also tried, while in Beijing, we tried their famous Peking duck, and it was delicious. And then we visited the Olympic area. This is the bird nest. is where they had the track and field and sporting events during the 2008 Olympics. And we were fortunate enough to get on the track field and rode a Segway. And here we're at the water cube where they had the Olympics as well for swimming competitions. We were able to go inside and take pictures. It was surprising that they're very limited seating. It looked very big on TV, but it was actually quite small from what I imagined. The next stop is Shenyang. We visited the Shenyang Pharmaceutical University. They have their school of pharmacy and they also have their traditional Chinese medicine. Shenyang Pharmaceutical University is the #1 for pharmaceutical sciences in China. And this is their school this is their campus. And then we also visit a traditional Chinese medicine hospital where they did acupuncture. And this is one of our classmates. He volunteered for an acupuncture around the eye, and they focus how important it is, the acupuncture around the eye, because the areas around the eye show the different diseases or complications you have around your body. And down here where I volunteered to get my pulse read, and this is their traditional way of diagnosing patients, is based on their symptoms, presentation, and also the pressure on their pulse. This is a lower left-hand corner is a traditional Chinese pharmacy, and these workers are filling the prescriptions and they're packaging in these bags. And continue on the wall here on the top right hand corner, it is their most common traditional Chinese medicine. And then down here is where I visited this Shenyang Pharmaceutical University museum. They have a whole collection of all these different herbs and dried animals. And on the left-hand side is the research facility. We visited their research labs. This machine is actually quite small. What they do is they put rats in there and take an X-ray. And below you can see a picture of a rat. They use this because they use it to trace the medications in the body. The area that's in red represents that the medications are still around the head of the rat, and after time the medication will distribute to the rest of the body, and that's how they were able to tell how fast the drug distributes throughout the body by using this machine and this program to calculate everything. And here we are with the students from Shenyang Pharmaceutical University. They were very kind. They help us get to places where we need to go. And again, in China, in culture, they like to toast every other couple minutes. Everyone will like to toast. So this is what we're doing. We're giving a toast. And of course, we taught them how to do the gator chomp. And during Shenyang, we were able to a live lecture, and it was very fortunate that they prepared the lecture in English that we can understand. So this is their classroom. This is their desk. Not a lot of people in the classroom, but there is an overhead projector and the teacher do the lecture on the PowerPoint. And this was a dosage form lecture, and the students were in their 5th year of pharmacy pharmacy school for their bachelor's degree. And so this lecture was all in English, and it was quite interesting. The students in China what their curriculum is like, they receive a bachelor degree in pharmacy, and usually it's 4 years, but in Shenyang Pharmaceutical University, usually takes them about 5 years to complete, because that university requires every single student to do a research project, and they must be published before they can receive their bachelor's degree. That's why most of their pharmacy students are 5th-year students. And while in Shenyang, we visited their Imperial Palace. Shenyang was the original Imperial Palace before it got moved to Beijing. It is a lot smaller than Beijing. And they had a show going on when we were there, and this is where the emperor used to sit. And we were able to go out and learn their social activities. Chinese people really like karaoke. We went to a couple karaoke places and had fun with their students. Then we went to Dandong, and while we were there, we were able to go for a few sightseeing places. Dandong is geographically located very, very close to North Korea. This is the river that separates China and North Korea. And I took this photo to show the difference comparing China and North Korea. To the left is North Korea. There are no tall buildings. To the right is China, and there are a lot more buildings and civilization that you can see. This is the bridge that I'm on. It's called the Broken Bridge. It starts from China and then it stops halfway on the river. It does not connect all the way to North Korea. This bridge is historical. And then right next to a bridge is a bridge that connects from China to North Korea, and that one is called the Friendship Bridge. And this picture down here is a picture of North Korea. So while in Dandong, we visit the manufacturing facility. We went to Nirvana Pharmaceutical and also Liaoning Conceptua. They make generic medications, things like famotidine, pantoprazole, and they also make L-carnitine. And this is a machine that was making is spitting out tablets down here that later on needs to be coated with coating and coloring. And we scrubbed in to tour their facility. And in Shenyang, we were able to visit a local community pharmacy. This one is actually a franchise that had over 300 stores throughout the country. On the first floor, they sell over-the-counter medications. Second floor, they sell traditional Chinese medications. And in the back of the first floor, there is a pharmacist that will fill prescription medications. So here, all I see are multivitamins and minerals, things that are over the counter. And as I was looking through the shelf, I found some dextromethorphan. And they have directions in both Chinese and in English. So that was very interesting and convenient for us if we needed to purchase something like that. And then on the second floor, they have traditional Chinese medication, and they also have a traditional Chinese doctor that is able to diagnose you and write you a prescription, and then you can get it filled. while in Shenyang, we were curious about what is their most popular dish. In Beijing, they had the Peking duck. In Shanghai, they had the soupy buns. So in Shenyang, apparently they are known for their dumplings. So they took us to a dumpling restaurant, and they have over 14 different types of dumplings for us to try. So we got that, and this is what it looked like. It was a big pile of dumplings, and they were really delicious. There were all these different shapes, different stuffings, different flavors. It was really good, but it was too much. There were way too much dumplings. And this is our final night, our last day in Shenyang. We had dinner with the students. Again, we want to thank them for all their time that they spent with us and their patience, and their teaching us and explaining us about the Chinese culture and taking us around the city. They have been a great host. And that's it. The end. And also, during this trip, I feel that we have, by visiting the College of Pharmacy, their School of Pharmacy, their hospital, learn about their community pharmacy, drugs. So this trip has been a great learning experience for me, and it is also very, very memorable for me.